call the meeting to order. First thing on the agenda is silent prayer, please. Okay, thank you. We'll go ahead with the approval of minutes of April 8th, 2025 for the public hearing and the regular town council meeting.
So moved.
Have a motion on the floor of the doors.
Second.
Second by Talbot, all in favor? Go on to number 4, agenda additions. Anybody have any additions to the meeting?
I want to talk about the 4th of July. That shouldn't be an addition, should it, Danny?
We'll put it on that last.
Okay.
I'm gonna add number 8. We have to pick a time for a public hearing for a motor vehicle code. Susan will explain that to us. Number 9, we have building system technologies, concerns Ralph Stanley Museum. We have some ladies here to talk about the flood program. That'd be number 10. Number 12, flood relief fund. And last we'll do 4th of July. Is there any other additions? If not, do I have a motion to approve the agendas with additions?
So moved.
A motion by Talbot.
Second.
Second by Ron, all in favor? Ayes have it. Donation request. We have 2 donation requests. One John D. Deal Library and the Lions Club Golf Tournament. What's the council's pleasure on those?
I'll make a motion, we give them both $100.
Okay, we have a motion for $100. We have a second.
Second.
Okay. Ron second, all in favor? Ayes have it. I'm gonna deviate from the agenda and I'm gonna ask that we go into closed session and, that Talbot, that's at the bottom there, Talbot.
I want to make a motion to go in closed session pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3712A for the purpose of consulting with legal counsel for personnel matters, to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711 subsection 7 and 1.
Okay, you have a second?
The council, to the best of their knowledge, that only public business matters lawfully exempt from the open meeting requirements of the Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting, and that only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convened in the closed session were heard, discussed, or considered by the town council.
Okay, we have a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call vote.
Doris. Talbot. Ron. Jim. Andy. Motion carried.
Okay, moving on to, we need to set a public hearing for our motor vehicle code. You want to explain anything about that, Susan?
That's just what we redo every year for the new legislative updates for anything that might change from 2024 to 2025. And then the officers are on solid ground when they're writing tickets in court.
And this needs to be in the paper
1 week.
1 week, okay?
Can it be at the next meeting, or is that too late?
The only thing that we have to wait on is the budget and the taxes. So that the next meeting for the motor code would be fine.
Okay. What date would that be?
That would be, I think it's June.
10th, I think.
Yeah, June the 10th.
Okay. So we need a motion.
Yeah.
Okay. So I need a motion to consider the motor vehicle code set for June the 10th Do I have a motion?
So maybe.
Motion by Talbot, second by
Second.
Doris, all in favor? Thank you. Building systems technology, Judy, you wanna go over that a little bit? This concerns the outstanding museum fire alarm system.
The fire alarm system people called a couple of weeks ago, and they said it looked like our system was down over there. So, someone come down to check it last week, and he said it was, and he's also checked our panel, and he says that we've got a panel in there in the gift shop that controls the fire alarm system. He said that was outdated, and it really needed to be updated. And also to go to a different way that they would check the fire alarm system. It wouldn't be through a phone line, it would be probably through a wireless setup. And in the information they gave him how much each part of that. And the system on an annual fee would be about $300 and some for an annual fee for the system, for them to just keep a check on it.
That's to monitor, correct?
To monitor,
The system.
to make sure that everything's working good over there. And to alert the fire department in case there is a fire.
And the necessary changes we need to make would be $6,278.21 to bring our fire alarm system up to date, plus the
I think it's 360.
$360 for the monitoring. Any discussion on that?
I'll make a motion to, with the building systems technology, to upgrade the fire panel and to pay the annual fee to keep it fire safe.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Second. Second by Ron, all in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. In your packet, this is just for your information only. Everybody see the flood relief questionnaire form? This concerns the $7,900 that we brought in from our flood relief fund. And Andy and Jim and I had a meeting with Kevin Mullins and Larry Barton this morning. The next meeting will be on June the 2nd. This was a questionnaire form. I want you to look over it if you have any changes or any additions to it. And I think we decided last month that Andy would be our representative on maybe a 5 to 7 member board to decide how these funds will be distributed. And so take that and make any recommendations you all have and any comments you want prior to the June 2nd meeting. Let me know about it, and we'll just go from there on the funds we have. Any questions on that?
I have a comment.
Okay, go ahead, Andy. You may want to maybe say something about the meeting today.
We did kind of discuss the makeup of the committee, who will be responsible for reviewing the applications. And because it does affect the entire county, we have considered inviting council members from Clinchco and Hayside, as well as an industry rock and dirt mover. I don't know what a proper term of address would be for that. Make that sound fancy somewhere. And then I think they're also the county's looking at hiring a consultant as well. But because of the weather issues that we've had locally over the past few years, it might be worth considering doing an annual concert fundraiser and not just in response to emergency situations.
And I talked to Larry, the mayor of Hayside today, and he's He's gonna be there on June 2nd.
Okay.
And I think Larry was gonna contact Clintwood's mayor.
Yes.
Well, one thing that I will say, since we're talking about that, when we had this concert and everything, we told people that this is gonna be for drain pipes, driveways and stuff that wouldn't be covered, you know, through the state or whatever, other ways. But I see on this thing, you're asking about homes and, all these different things, and so I don't know. Of course, there's gonna be more money added to that, so maybe just leave it like it is.
Well, this is just an example questionnaire, so if you wanna make any changes to it, or recommend any changes, or take anything out, that's, will be discussed at the June 2nd meeting. Any other comments? Okay, let's move on to, Doris, you wanna talk about the 4th of July, you said?
You gonna wait those girls be last?
I think for no program, we're gonna wait and have you last.
Okay. 4th of July, Rick, you help me out here now. Everybody's already started asking me. And from year to year, I keep forgetting all this stuff because I'm in a tizzy. What time do we have our, parade last year?
4 o'clock, wasn't it?
Or,
Yeah, because they done the, well, last year. Yeah, I think the last 2 years been at 4 o'clock, because they done the tree lighting at 5, which we never could be there, because there's always lighting.
no, I'm talking about 4th of July.
Yeah, I'm thinking something else.
I'm thinking about Christmas.
4th of July,
I don't think was it 4? 4th of July? It don't seem like it was.
it was the 6th,
See,
I think, wasn't it? Now, because see, we changed it a couple of
I
times.
know it, but it wasn't 6 because it's daylight and hot as far out there. What time? Do we still have that thing, Judy, that little
I'm sure we do.
flyer we've got made up? We need to get that. I need to find the time. People have already started calling me about food trucks, and I want to get something out there on the internet as soon as I possibly can, because people start calling already, wanting to know. And we're going to start it from the same place as always, West End.
And the food city, the old food city.
And that's the old food city, okay, so
We'll
I'll
have nothing in the park, so we can.
Right.
so you want to change the time to the parade, Doris, or you want to have?
well, no,
something?
I was just wondering, I can't remember what time it was last year.
Okay. We'll find-
Judy will find that out. And two, the band director, he's a wrestling coach, I guess, from Ridgeview. He's been calling me, and I told him I'd find out tonight. They want to do a 5K run, I guess, before our parade and everything. That's really the reason I wanted to find out what time the parade. I see no reason they couldn't have one. What about you, Rick? Is it a lot of problem to have a 5K?
Depending on where we're gonna run at.
Okay.
Depending on the route. One year they done one around Happy Valley, which is not an issue because, you know, that's on the golf course and stuff. But to do one through town, you have to have an officer about it, there's a crosswalk.
Yeah, see, that would.
Normally, see, 4th of July's on a Friday this year. So we'll have 2 officers out during the day, but we normally don't bring the others out till close to parade time. But if they do a 5K, you want to come out all day.
See, I figure they need to have it somewhere else in because you're gonna have enough to do that day from here to there and everywhere. I mean, there's so much that you usually have to do that day. And for 5K, I think I'll talk to him and see what they're thinking about doing and explain to him what we need to do. And I'll get with you and see what they think. But
Here's a flyer from last year, it says we had the parade at 3 p.m. Line up at 2.
yeah, that's fine. I think it did good last year at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, get time to get it done before
Yeah.
you do. I don't know if they're gonna get races here.
Yeah, well, I've got to get everything done at the, up there in the football field. And we've done, thanks to Danny and Sarah, we've got our band already. And of course, the mayor called me when snow was flying, wanted me to get in food trucks. And I said, do you mind if we wait till it quits snowing before I start getting into this stuff 4th of July? I mean, but if he gets something on his mind, he's on the telephone.
What are we gonna do about stage up there this year? Probably get clients to the same thing.
Yeah.
do the same thing last
Yeah,
year.
because it's the same band.
Oh, okay, then they'll want that big one.
Yeah. We can do that. I'm just in the middle of trying to get some different things, cause I've, different things on the football field and around it, people are calling, they want to set up here, set up there.
Well, I think the same band, but they're kind of what, Confederate Railroad, is that what they're
I
calling?
think so then.
Confederate Railroad, it's not gonna be the, what were they last year, Jim?
CCR.
CCR. This year, they're gonna be Confederate Railroad.
They just change your clothes and
Just
change your name.
costumes and instruments.
All they do, well, they do, change clothes, change your name. This one does.
Different wig.
Different wigs, you're right, but, I just wanted to get it, and also I would like for Christine or whoever who does the posting, I would like for them to go ahead and start posting as soon as we find out when anything's opening here, like the splash pad, or we get, pickleball courts, all that, we need to post it. I don't know what I said, but anyway, we need to get that on Facebook for the town instead of other people posting about it that don't really know what's going on. We need to get that out there. So I suggest, if you don't mind, you tell Christina to go ahead and put that out there when that's going to open. You don't care. Just trying to get a few things 4th of July. If you have any requests or anything, just holler at me. That's all I've got, Danny. Thank you all.
Thank you.
I'll be hollering at you.
Okay, let's see, what we down to, we're down to, JR too.
Is
You
it?
wanna- What do you wanna bring up, JR?
I'm just here for the, setup on the Pioneer Days.
Okay, what's
I'm
your,
exactly where we're gonna have it.
you had it at Food City parking lot last year, correct?
Yeah, and we just don't know what's gonna happen up there. We done a walk the other day, downtown Hall here, what was it, Walnut Street? And then on down, but there was some of us talking, we don't wanna spread it so far apart. To go from Walnut Street down to behind the old bank or behind the behavioral health now. So what we're thinking maybe is Walnut Street starting where crematory just above it and block it, and then go up, and then also the street in front of the library, and just have it like a big square where, people can walk, instead of having to walk all the way up if they want that or whatever. So we was thinking about maybe a square. If we can just get
Blocking off Chase Street,
block off, the Chase Street that's
from
the
the
library.
hardware to
Probably,
Jacksonville.
yeah, just below to Gas and Go. Leave it open, of course, and then block it off down to the intersection. And then Walnut Street, just below the crematory down to the
Don't put nobody selling food next to that crematory.
and the floor. Don't block off the floor, just block off,
Just be blocking off Saturday only.
Oh,
Yeah, I would say we just need both streets on Saturday, because I'm not sure on Sunday. We haven't really officially met, but on what they got planned on Sunday. So we just gotta kind of figure out and map it so we know how many vendors. I think they told me today, as of now, there's 32 coming in.
well, JR, by having it over there is better too, because people are more apt to park at the old food city, and they can walk to there.
Right.
Well, if you head anywhere else, it's such a long walk for some of these older people to park their cars way off and try to get somewhere,
Yeah. Of course, you got that parking where some of them park there behind the crematory.
Right.
But I figure we come up above that green building, whatever, the old power plant, and block it there to the intersection.
When is,
Earl Gray's office.
when are y'all
When
on
is that, JR?
Pioneer Days?
September 5th, 6th, and 7th.
September 5th, 6th, and 7th.
The question that we've had about Chase Street before is that ATM that's over
At the bank.
there. Now, they can come in from the funeral home side if you don't get blocked.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that street won't be blocked. I figured leaving that street and then they'd come down around Johnson Chevrolet.
you still can't get to that bank.
No, it would be blocked.
Well, you can get in behind Clinus's and come into the bank.
Yeah, that's what I say, if people know that or whatever.
Yeah. But that's just one of our thoughts. They wanted to go all the way down across behind the old, where the behavior health is, but that's just a long walk for people that have to go that far apart. So I'm figuring in that square would be, if they see something, they just walk across.
Well, if you went on down through there, it means you have to block that whole intersection over, which is gonna cause an issue with
Right.
people coming down Fuller Avenue and around.
Right, so I figured it'd be easier just that square. Because there ain't really any businesses, I think of on Saturday, it's even in that area that's open. I know the banks ain't open.
Well, JR, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why would y'all not want to have it back where you had it last year? Didn't that work out so good?
Yeah, but we hate to plan that, then all of a sudden a business pops in over there. And I'm not sure about the tire now. Did Food City give up their lease, or are they still?
I think so, the fire's still on the outdoor lights.
I noticed the lights was still on the other day.
And if you call one of those people, I think Danny's got the number, you could ask them, they'll tell you like they did when the, what is it that's over there now, the farmer's market?
Farmer's market, yeah. I had some contact with the owner, and he did give us permission to do the farmer's market, so if we wanna go back over there, I can
I think that
see if we can get permission. But, why don't you let us mull this over, and we're gonna have a budget workshop, probably at the end of this month, correct? Correct. Yeah. And let's give the council some time to think about it and talk with Reed, see what we'd have to block off and
Okay.
get back with you.
Did you write down where he's talking about, Judy?
I don't know where it's at.
Oh, you know.
Is that okay with the council?
Yeah, that's good.
Because the only thing you'd have to worry about, and I like Gerald's idea of Chase Street. The only thing you have to worry about here is if they have a funeral that day, you want to make.
Yeah, that's what we-
Oh, yeah.
If they have one.
That was one thing we was gonna make sure.
And I don't know what you'd be having on
But
the,
the only, with the funeral, they can turn their cars around and go out this way.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
But I don't think, we'd get a lot of thought of that, so they'd be able to have a funeral if they. I'm sorry.
If they had one, I just trying to keep it in a square area. I don't want, especially these older people, have to walk all the way down to Jenny Baker behind it. But just like to have it in an area,
but you don't think you're gonna have to close it? Cause I don't think the state let us close Chase Street off probably more than one day. Probably
Chase-
Saturday.
Chase Street would probably be just Saturday.
Okay. We have to get permission
Yeah,
from
because
them to block
Sunday-
it off.
Sunday we can just do behind here if they're going to do their gospel singing again.
Or are they still, I know, I hate to get off topic, but are they still thinking about doing Hooten in the Holler again, or?
No, we can all. That's. Okay, thank you, JR.
Yeah,
We'll get back with you on that, JR. If there's anything we can do, let's.
yeah, just let me know. We're going to meet now. If any of y'all want to come to the meeting, we're meeting the 20 to start the kick it off. Will be the 29th over to Kiwanis building at 5 o'clock on the 29th.
In May.
Yeah, will be the first
When is it?
Pioneer Day meeting over to Kiwanis. Yeah, and anybody that we take input, I think we're open for anything.
Well, from what I heard, it did real good over there last year.
It went good. We only had 30-some vendors show out of the 70-some, but of course that storm come through and a lot of them couldn't get out. But they was still 30, I think 33.
That's good.
And
That was a great turn.
I do too.
all the food trucks was happy with the service. So it went well to be a first time. Trying to get it going, maybe done get on it.
So,
Thank you. Do we have anybody else from the public who wants to?
we have someone from the library.
Yes. I
Okay.
don't know if you guys had already talked about that or not. Okay.
The donations,
Yes.
we've already taken care of that,
Okay.
okay?
You can come back
You wanna
and
come
pick
by
up
and
a
you wanna
check.
tell us what it's gonna be used for, or what you're planning on doing?
It's just going to be used for prizes for our summer reading program. Every year we try to entice the kids to read. Last year we had over 1,000 books read. They did really wonderful with it. And this year we're looking to buy some more prizes. Last year we had it split up into 3 age groups, and we did first, second, third place prizes, and then we got small prizes for everyone who participated. And we're hoping to be able to do that again. And last year we were given a donation from the VFW. Before they disbanded, they gave us and split with Hayside the rest of their reserve on their money. So we had a little bit extra to buy prizes with last year, and it went over so well that we thought that we would ask for a little bit more from the town this year. I know we haven't asked before, but we saw how well the families participated last year, and we wanted to just keep that going. And of course, we have our own funds that we try to pull from, but if we use all of that now for our summer programs when it comes fall time, and we have our library school programs, we're down some funds. So we really appreciate you all, and thank you for all your help, because I know that we call every year and we ask to do things, and so I really appreciate each and every one of you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, that's a great program, we appreciate you.
Curtis, do you have anything?
Nothing, didn't have anything. We do appreciate, I will say, I appreciate everything the town does for the fire department. And I appreciate everything the town PD does for the town, as the town says, and I appreciate we have such a good police department. Appreciate everything the town does to help them out.
Well, thank you for all you do. Fire department, we appreciate it.
I appreciate you saying that.
Okay,
I was just curious, does the library work through the Dolly Parton reader program?
We tell people about the Imagination Library, and there's nothing that we can personally do with it, but I have mentioned to everyone, of course, that until they're school age, they can get free books through the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. And we try to have free books to give out at the library as well every time we get donations. Sometimes we have book sales where, they're cheap kids' books. We sell a lot of those.
I just didn't know if that program might have provided books for your program.
Well, where it's up to the individuals to register, they really don't do anything for the library specifically. So we just have to leave that up to the parents whether or not they want to.
Okay.
okay, thank you all. Okay, ladies, you're up, just feel free to
Chime on in?
come on in and
No problem.
get your last, so take your time and
Absolutely. So my name is Brady Buford. I am the State National Flood Insurance Program Coordinator. That's a mouthful. I just say the NFIP coordinator for the state of Virginia, working at the Virginia Department of Conservation and Recreation. And what my role is to oversee the floodplain management program for the state. I act as a liaison between FEMA, the NFIP program, and then the communities and localities themselves that are participating or looking to participate in the program. Help providing guidance on, adopting new maps and regulating floodplain development within their communities. We assist with training for localities, helping we run a state grant program to get communities money to help mitigate and build up resilience within the community. But one of our big things that we've been assisting with as of late is disaster recovery. So we've been down in Southwest Virginia quite a bit after Helene, as well as after the President's Day weekend storms, meeting with localities and just kind of checking in, seeing how they're faring and how we can kind of assist them moving forward. And so we had some talks, Danny and I, about the town of Clintwood. And currently the town of Clintwood does not actually participate in the National Flood Insurance Program. There were a couple of communities that we've actually identified that don't participate. We've actually worked with the town of Troutdale, has recently enrolled. Town of Galax is actually in the process of enrolling currently. Because what is happening is sometimes these communities are getting hit by these disasters and they don't qualify for federal assistance. That would be helpful for helping the community get back on their feet and build back more resiliently. And not having flood insurance, not being participating in the National Flood Insurance Program means that no one within your community is able to get flood insurance, which means that they don't have the access to those funds to be able to build back quicker after, any type of flooding event. So one of the things that I've been doing is just kind of meeting with communities that aren't participating and talking about what it would look like to enroll in the program, how that would impact the community, how the community would benefit, but what they would also have to do moving forward as far as regulating and managing their program within the community. One of the things that we've noted down here is that a lot of communities are misunderstanding some of the steps that are involved in the process for enrollment in the National Flood Insurance Program. They think that they're going to have to go and address all development that's been done in the FEMA Special Flood Hazard Area, which is actually not true. If you have never participated in the NFIP program and you're looking to enroll, there's literally three steps. One is to submit a resolution of intent to join. The next step is to submit an application to join. And the third step is to adopt an ordinance within your community that regulates development within the FEMA Special Flood Hazard Area. What I've noted is that you guys already do have a zoning ordinance. You guys already do have some of that general floodplain language. If you're adhering to the state building codes, you are already required to elevate 1 foot above freeboard. You're already required to do substantial damage determinations. These are things that are already required for the state building code, so you're not really having to do anything additional to what you're already doing. But you would get the benefits from being participatory in the program. So you would be able to have flood insurance. People would be able to get federally backed mortgages for homes that are in a special flood hazard area. They would qualify for federal assistance, disaster assistance, as well as the community would be able to qualify for additional federal and state funding to mitigate the community or help them build resilience or do projects or studies within their community to address flood hazards. Danny asked if I could come and talk to you guys at this meeting and just, kind of let you know what that process would look like and, how that would benefit you as a community and what it would look like moving forward if you did decide to enroll in the program. As I mentioned, it's 3 steps. They're fairly easy that I can help assist and walk through that process. We actually do have a template. Resolution of intent letter to join. We have access to the application, and we have a state model floodplain ordinance that you can adopt to kind of make it easier for not having to generate a floodplain ordinance from scratch. But we're happy to work with the community on that process of adopting it. And then it would be helpful to, do trainings if you guys did decide to move forward, just to understand what enforcement of development in the floodplain would look like, and which we've talked about previously. It looks like most of your floodplain is already developed. So there shouldn't really be a lot of additional development within the floodplain that would need to be regulated. The only real major impact that it would have is just monitoring and overseeing substantial improvement and substantial damages within the floodplain, which means that everything that's there may have been in compliance with, whatever your building codes were at the time, but probably wasn't done in compliance with what current floodplain regulations would require you to do. So we like to track improvements and damages to those structures that are located in a special flood hazard area. And if they get to a point at which damages or improvements to that structure meet or exceed 50% of the value of that structure, then it would have to come into compliance with the current floodplain regulations. And how FEMA looks at that is they want you to mitigate to the greatest extent possible. So, for example, if a home is not elevated appropriately and it floods and it damages 50% or more of the structure, they want to see that come into compliance. But understandably, if you have a home that's worth $20,000 and it costs you $200,000 to elevate, that's not financially feasible for the homeowner, it's not financially feasible for the community. So they wouldn't ask you to go to that extreme, but what they would want to see is you making an effort to mitigate to the greatest extent possible, whether it's trying to get some free grant money to offer property buyouts, whether it's doing some studies and mitigation projects. You can get free funding from the state to do mitigation projects to help mitigate that structure to the greatest extent possible. So that would be the real work behind administering those floodplain regulations and regulating that development, since you probably wouldn't be looking at a lot of additional new development within the special flood hazard area. But we provide trainings so we can talk through what it would look like to manage and regulate and enforce development within your community, what the roles and responsibilities would be for the floodplain administrator. We can work with you on developing floodplain permitting processes. We do have floodplain permit templates and things like that. But we have a whole assortment of resources that are available to assist communities who do choose to enroll, do want to participate in that program, so that you're not left trying to, figure it out for yourself. We are there to help support through the process and offer you whatever guidance and assistance that we can moving forward. But we do strongly recommend communities that don't currently participate to at least consider joining, because again, you are already supposed to be adhering to the state building codes, which already requires you to do everything that you need to do for NFIP participation and regulation moving forward anyways, only you're not getting the benefits of being able to offer flood insurance and being able to get federal assistance and being able to have federally backed mortgages for homes that are in a special flood hazard area. So if someone wants to sell their home and someone wants to come in and buy it and has to get a federally backed mortgage to buy that property, they cannot do so unless they can purchase flood insurance. So it just gives more flexibility within the community, offers you up to more resources from the state and federal government, and helps you qualify for more funding as well. Because as I mentioned, there's federal grant programs, and we also have a state grant program, the Community Flood Preparedness Fund, where, as a participating community, you can apply for funding through the state in each grant round application to increase capacity within your community, to help with planning within your community, to do studies within your community, and to do mitigation projects within your community. So those are all some really great benefits from participation in the program. Do you have anything specific that you want to
I can't
know?
believe you said all that without looking at it. The paper, phone, or anything. What a memory.
Since I've been on the council, I think we've considered belonging to the floodplain maybe twice. And that's one of the reasons I wanted her to come tonight, since the weather patterns are changing. It seems like we're getting more flooding, and I know of an instance, someone wanted to buy the Greenway Pharmacy. It wasn't the lady that's down there now, but they were unable to get a loan because they couldn't buy flood insurance.
That's right.
So we lost the business there buying the building. Mm-hmm. And so I just wanted her to come and see what you all thought. If you all wanted to give it some more consideration.
Yeah, and if you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer anything. I did also send you an email that you are free to disseminate however you'd like, but it gives a lot of background information It has the information on what the steps are to join, what relevant documents and templates are available to assist you, and some background information on, how that's beneficial to the community to participate. Because one of the things that we've been seeing when we go and meet with communities is they're like, well, we were told if we joined, we had to remove all the structures that are in the floodplain, or we had to mitigate all these structures in the floodplain. And because you haven't participated previously in the National Flood Insurance Program, we're not going to say you need to go and fix all of these things when you weren't held to a requirement to do that in the first place. So you don't have to go and remove structures that are in the floodplain. It's kind of like it's a grandfathered in, essentially, right? You weren't participatory in the program, therefore you didn't have to follow the regulations during that time. So if something maybe wasn't elevated, we're not going to deem you for that. We'll say you can't participate, or that you have to elevate that structure to participate in the program. The only time when that really starts becoming more of a regulatory, I don't want to say problem, it's not a problem, but something that is a little bit more difficult, I guess, to deal with is that when you do have structures that are in the floodplain and you're participating in the program, you do technically have to take into account that substantial damage, substantial improvement threshold, like I mentioned. However, technically it's written into the state building codes, so you're supposed to be doing that anyways, even if you didn't participate in the NFIP. So it shouldn't be adding any additional burdens to the community to participate and regulate, because if you've adopted the state building codes, then that's already written into those codes. Only you're not getting the other benefits from participating in the program.
Is there a charge to us, the community?
A charge?
Yeah, do we pay for it?
No, there's no financial cost. It is free to participate and enjoy.
I think one thing that I picked out of our meeting there that I thought was of interest, whenever myself and Danny met with you earlier, was that the flooding doesn't necessarily have to be natural flooding either. I mean, you could go on vacation and have a water leak, and the water completely destroy your home, and this flood insurance would also take.
Yeah, it's flooding of any origin. And so, like, for example, if you have homeowners insurance, it's not going to cover flooding of any origin to your home. So if you have, water that runs over and floods out your home, you're going to get denied coverage under your homeowners insurance policy. If you have flooding from a rain event, or say there's a wind, hurricane, and the roof gets ripped off and it rains down into your home and it floods that way, your homeowner's insurance is not going to cover that. You actually have to have flood insurance to be able to cover those types of losses and damages to your home. And you cannot currently purchase flood insurance because this community doesn't participate in the NFIP program.
So if the town did do this program, would we have a point of contact? Would it be a you that, hey, we've had a catastrophic event, can you come and help walk us through the problems?
Right, absolutely. So we act as the state entity that assists the communities that are participating in this program, and even those that don't, because as I've come down and met with you a couple of times and just talked to you about how your community is doing and what things we can do to better help you. But we do trainings for the people who are overseeing this program, anything that they need to know about their roles and responsibilities, about how to do, how to follow up when you do have a disaster, kind of what your steps are, how to do substantial damage estimates. And we are technically your liaison, essentially, between FEMA, who oversees the National Flood Insurance Program, and the localities, and just kind of helping you meet those requirements that you need to be able to do your job. We offer a lot of toolkits, a lot of resources to the community. We come down and do visits. Obviously, we've come down multiple times after these disasters to meet and check in with communities and see what resources we can help provide. We also oversee our state grant program, so we do grant workshops and stuff to help communities kind of find projects and things that they can do to help mitigate flooding within their communities and work with them through that process. So we have a team. Currently, I am the state lead. I run the program. And then I have 3 on my team. Karen is one of my planners. And then I also have Tashim and I have Stacy. We are actually hiring 2 new planners as well. One of those is going to be a senior planner that is going to be local to Southwest Virginia. We want someone that is from the area, that is familiar with the localities and the specific issues. Southwest Virginia has a lot of very specific flooding issues that are going on, and we want someone that is kind of centrally located. So when that person gets onboarded to the team, we just opened up our application cycle, so we're hoping to have someone on the team and solid and ready to go before the end of the year. But you will have someone that's actually a local touch point for you that can be here more frequently to interact and engage with the community and provide, trainings, follow-ups, meetings, whatever is needed.
You mentioned administrator. How's that selected, administrator?
So that is something that is designated within your ordinance. One of the things that your ordinance has to have is an administrative section that delegates who is going to be the floodplain administrator for your community. Who is going to be the one who oversees and ensures that development is regulated appropriately, right? Who's the one that's maintaining the records and documents? So if someone does come in for a permit, you have to have someone that makes sure that that gets done. So that would be up to you as a community to determine who is going to be your floodplain administrator. So in some communities, maybe they have a building department that oversees building permits and they assign that person. But typically in some of these smaller communities, it actually will sometimes be the mayor or whoever the mayor delegates to take on that role.
So I'm assuming if this is something that we did, we would have to hold a public hearing.
Right. Right. That is correct. And that's another thing too, if you guys, did want to pursue down that route, you guys were interested in doing a public hearing, just as I'm here tonight, we can always come and be present for an event like that as well to answer questions because, a lot of people have a lot of questions. They're very curious about how this would impact them. So we're happy to provide support on that front as well.
Will it cover other government buildings? And I'm thinking the libraries here, you all have some water issues at times, am I correct?
Yes,
So,
frequently.
The county has their own insurance. I've got who they use, but will they be able to purchase the flood insurance and if something happens to the library or a behavioral health building?
Right.
So
you would be able to insure any insurable structure within your community. You could get flood insurance for. Okay. And additionally, you can also look at if you guys have things that you need to do to mitigate and protect structures within your community. There are opportunities for you to apply for grant funding to be able to do mitigation projects within your community. It is a process in that you do have to have an approved resilience plan for your community. So I would probably piggyback. I think Dickinson has an approved, or they're looking at putting in for one in this grant round application. So I would look at partnering with them on developing the resilience plan so that you could then apply for project funding. But if you do have, community structures that you are looking to mitigate and protect, you would be able to apply for funding essentially from the state to be able to mitigate.
So the county is looking at the same program?
Right. So the county already participates in the National Flood Insurance Program. But they also have taken advantage of applying for our state funding program, the Community Flood Preparedness Fund. This is a state-run program, so you know how you can apply for money from FEMA to get mitigation funds, but you have to jump through all the hoops and it takes 5 years, and then sometimes they'll cancel the BRIC program. So all these people that are waiting on money, they don't have it. We have our own state-funded program that doesn't rely on FEMA funds, and we kind of offer a similar type scenario where communities can apply for funding for capacity and planning, or for doing studies within their community to identify areas that they need to mitigate, or developing base flood elevations that they can regulate to. And then we also have a projects funding bucket, so communities can apply for mitigation funding. And so those are things that we fund through the state. We just had an application cycle that just closed out recently. We're getting ready to award those funds right now, but they are looking to push another round out in this administration. So we are potentially looking to open that back up and, for the next grant round much sooner than we had anticipated, but, before the end of the year, we'll have another grant round that gets opened up that communities can apply for those funds. And again, that's not backed by FEMA funding. It's run through the state. So it's a quicker way to get money. It's a more guaranteed way to get money. It doesn't take you 5 years to see those funds. Those funds start paying out very quickly. So we strongly encourage communities. We will, before we open a grant round, we will come down and do a grant workshop, and we invite all the communities to come and participate, to talk about what the changes are that year to the grant round and what types of projects and things that you guys can look at applying for your community, and walk you through what it would look like to put in an application, and how that process works. So it's something that, if you guys were interested in, we definitely reach out. We have all of the community contacts, and we send out frequent information to communities about training workshops, grant workshops, and the like, to kind of help your community harness as much resources as necessary.
Well, most of the towns and counties surrounding us belong to the floodplain.
Absolutely.
It doesn't.
There's almost 300 communities in the state of Virginia, and I think currently we only have 18 that don't participate in the program. And City of Gale Axe is almost there right now. We have 4 communities that actually do not have special flood hazard area, but they are only needing to submit an application and a resolution of intent to join. And we're working with those communities currently on getting those communities enrolled. And like I mentioned, town of Clintwood just enrolled as well. So that number is rapidly shrinking because communities are seeing the benefit. Again, if you're already having to do these things for state building code requirements anyways, you're not being asked to do above and beyond that as far as, elevating and, issuing permits and, making sure you do substantial damage determinations. So if you're already doing what you're supposed to be doing for building code wise anyways, it makes sense to be a part of the program so you get the benefits of getting to have flood insurance and, being able to get mortgages if you need to and qualifying for the additional funding opportunities and federal assistance, if you have a declaration.
Okay, any more questions? Anybody got any more questions? We appreciate you coming down.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I'd like to respond to that budget meeting.
so you want to take that advisement? Okay. Anybody want to make a motion to that, take this up?
I'll make a motion, we take this under advisement, and talk about it at our planning or budget meeting.
Okay. So the motion, we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. So we'll probably be in contact with you if we have any questions, and enjoy your stay in Clintwood.
Thank you. I already slept really good last night.
Hope you have an umbrella.
Okay.
I grew up in Oregon. I love the rain.
So we
We
need to
don't use
set
umbrellas out there.
a date for a budget workshop, and June thinks we'll probably be ready,
21st, 22nd, somewhere next week.
I think Dorsey's,
Let's do 22nd.
What's 22nd of
On Thursday.
are you with your mom,
Yeah.
22nd?
Thursday be fine, Thursday evening? Yeah.
Thursday, 22nd. Okay, we need that motion.
I think it's fine, it's no surprise.
So we'll set a budget workshop for May 22nd.
Regular time?
6 o'clock. Okay, everybody.
I'll be traveling back from Hampton that day.
Ron's gonna be traveling back from Hampton that day, so. 20th,
The 23rd. 23rd's on Friday.
I'll be I'm leaving Friday and I'll be back to Thursday this week.
you'll be available the 23rd, Ron, and
Yes.
that's Friday the 23rd, anybody?
That's graduation. I don't think anybody's
Okay.
gonna graduate.
Okay. 27th,
No, the
Tuesday the 27th. What do you want?
maybe the 26th, because I maybe when I left it in paper.
Okay, Monday the 26th. Andy? Okay, for you?
I want us to take a get that, we may need that tonight.
Yeah, I can make that work if it's at 6.
May 26th at 6, okay.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. We left anything out on the agenda? Let's see if, okay.
Oh, that's Memorial Day.
That's Memorial Day.
It's Memorial Day.
I'm gonna do it that way, okay. Mark that out.
Heaven's sake, my paper's marked all the people.
27th. 27th, Tuesday, 27th,
In the evening, yes.
6 o'clock.
I don't know if I see that calendar,
There you go.
you know, there ain't all without me, but one. I'm not gonna stop that show,
It sounds like sleep to me.
Yeah, it's supposed to be pretty bad today and tomorrow.
Is it?
It's supposed to what?
It's supposed to be pretty bad today and tomorrow. They have flood lines across most of the state.
what made you say?
The 27th, that's on Tuesday.
I believe I'm good at
I better check that out, I guess. If I did, I'll check mine. The budget workshop is finally May 27th, 6 o'clock. Okay, moving on, I'm gonna ask the town attorney, do you have anything for us?
Judy, based on the budget workshop dates, what dates are you looking for public hearings? Because we have to have 7 days before we can come back and pass the budget and taxes and all that, so I just wondered if we needed to go ahead and look at those dates, put it on the calendar.
Well, it would come out on the 4th, and that would be just 1, 2, 3, 6 days.
Yeah.
Unless we could have the council meeting on the 11th, we do that if we had to.
What?
Reschedule the council meeting for the 11th.
What date did you all pick a new date when we reorganized, or when a backup meeting would be, or anything like that? I think as long as you advertise for it, it will be okay if everybody can do the 11th. The other thing is I'm going to be on vacation that week. So, but I will have someone from the office come, probably Kevin, if you will, give us that, just to make sure that everything gets passed the way it needs to.
You'll run it through you after you get still here, right?
Yeah.
But we, I guess wasn't the 10th, the updates. You're saying 7 days from the day that we approved the budget?
7 days from the public hearing. You have to have 7 full days.
When's the public hearing going to be?
That's what I'm asking.
If we advertise on the 28th for the public hearing. So you're gonna have 1, 2, 3. Let's see, now if we advertise on the 4th, you're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 7th day would fall on the 11th. Would that be okay?
Yes, as long as it's 7 days. Yeah.
As long as we advertise
Let's go to a party for now on Tuesday.
You can't do that. You gotta do it in the paper or in the county. I'm sorry.
Well, let's go back and work on the date we're gonna have the hearing.
Mark that outdoors, 27.
I'll have no run, give you that, I have to have another piece of paper I've marked out so much.
Well, what, could we do, can everybody do the 20th in the evening?
I'm going all the way. I mean, if y'all need to go ahead and do it, then that's fine.
Do you think you could join us remotely?
But I have to look at my agenda, I'm not sure. What possible.
Everybody's gonna have to start bringing calendars, meeting with it, so I can check off this thing.
Let's do this, go ahead and have the schedule for the 20th, and I'll see about it.
Okay. 20th be okay, and Ron's gonna
I mean, you guys could
try to
always
call in.
do the public hearing on the actual meeting date and then come back 7 days later.
I think that's
I
what we
mean, if
usually do.
That's an option. I don't know what works best for everybody's calendars, but if you need to keep the budget workshop on the 27th, we just have to make sure we've got it approved before July 1.
Well, we can do that, come back 7 days after the 10th, or whatever.
We'd have to come to 10th, yeah.
But we would still have to have the budget set to be able to do that. And to be able to do that, we probably need to have it on the 20th to get the budget set to come back.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
So we'll have it on the 20th, and I'll just tell them, correct?
20th, 6.
Doris, have they made up their mind?
I don't know. I'm sitting down here scratching off the late 10th
And
and
then
11th.
we have a public hearing on the night of the council meeting. And then come back 7 days.
Yes, that would be fine.
So then let's come back on the 17th.
Yes. I mean, it doesn't have to be
It's your
7 days. It just has to be, we have to let 7 days pass. You can have 18, 19.
Just before the end. Okay.
Yes, yes. So whatever works best for everybody. Yeah.
Judy, I say, you send us something and we'll show up.
We'll send out a reminder on the, prior to the 20th. That's what Okay, town council, we'll start Doris.
Well, I've been talking about what I need, but I have one more thing. Did you get one of these, Judy? I'll pass that down and you can make a copy and put it in our next meeting. The Dixon County Chamber Annual Business Appreciation Cookout on the Clintwood Walk Track, June the 17th at 6 p.m. And everybody's invited. You can pass that down to Judy. You can make a copy of that and put it in our next meeting folder, please. That's all I have.
Calvin,
I'd still like for us to try to look at somewhere, maybe try to put a dog park or somewhere in town. Maybe we can wrap our heads and try to find a location.
I know location, I need to know location.
And, I just wanna appreciate all the employees for everything they've done. I know the mural got done, still no thunder, but it looks really good.
everybody don't forget the, June 14th is when the,
You think I'm gonna write something else?
festival's gonna be, I guess, mural festival we're calling it. And, we're gonna be a flyer coming on there, I think you.
It's like a flower in your folder there.
Yeah.
Now what's gonna happen on the 14th?
Okay.
There's a lot of different things going on.
Is that May?
No, it's June the 14th.
June 14th.
Tell you, we ain't got much, wow, May and June for us is filled up, we ain't got no time for nothing else. Okay.
Ron. Anything?
No,
Ron. Jim.
No, just a reminder again on that June the 14th, and the thing that we'll probably want to show up for certain is at 1:30. That's when I don't know what the word is, dedication, the short end and unveiling. But that'll start at 1:30.
I just want to remind everyone that Saturday, May 24th, 11 to 4, we'll do the splash pad openings, the Kiwanis Splash in the Summer event. Setup will begin at 10 a.m. And we might need to look at if we've got some wood, maybe create a little sandwich board for the jetty until the marquee gets done so that they can advertise events. We had a lot of people drive through saying that they had no idea any events were going on at the jetty. They are going to start displaying them on the behavioral health sign, but if we could have something out front just to remind them when the shows are, would be nice.
Okay. Elaborating a little bit on the 24th, we are going to work on splash pad Thursday to see if we can get it off the book.
Okay.
Try to get it going. And we've had rain delays on the pickleball courts and the basketball courts. This rain's killed us. But hopefully we'll have some blacktop down by the 24th. And y'all be able to use some power to move off those lights.
Okay.
And,
We did walk up there the other day. There's no outlets on the lights currently that we can see.
I think we have some right there at the benches.
Okay.
We have some outlets at the benches.
Okay.
And I'll see about power on the outlets. I don't know if there's any on the poles or not.
We didn't see any. There's a metal plate, but there's no actual plug-in outlets. There are some on the shed that we could use if it's got power.
Okay. And we were able to make a walkway from the old football field into the softball field or the Little League field so that they wouldn't have to stop the games to let kids come over and practice on the football field. Andy and I got with Donald, the Little League coordinator, and worked that out. Alan and Joby and Kyle made a walkway, so we got that completed. And we're not haven't been able to get the inmates for the last 2 weeks, I guess, or maybe 3 weeks to help us out because of the incident that happened on Wallen's Ridge. We'll take them over there, but hopefully we can get those back. We can get back on schedule on our mowing. That's about all I can think of. We'll probably put the flowers out. When did you think? Last week of this month?
Well, I was hoping soon.
Before Memorial Day.
Yeah, before
we'll have them out
weekend.
before Memorial Day. I did go out and check them out to Mr. Hall's, and they are real pretty flowers. So they're going to look nice this year. So we'll have those out, and I guess crosses will go out Saturday doors. Maybe put up Saturday.
Yeah, and there's some people going to come. This lady from Behavioral Health that works with veterans, she's coming. And then some Girl Scouts are coming. They're going to add a program to it this year, Danny. That'll make it work out good.
Okay, and we're going to have the crosses out for you all doors on Friday.
Okay.
We'll have them on the wall.
Okay, thank you.
And so you don't have to get them out of the garage. And that's all I have. If y'all have any questions for me? Any hard questions?
Have you heard anything back from PDOT about paving anywhere?
No. Did talk to Greg Friday, and he promised that he'd come over and drive some routes with me, because I know we're getting a lot of complaints at McDonald's and Chase Street, Food City, and I just hate to use our money to have the boys do this, so I'm counting on Greg to come through. But in their defense, the asphalt plant in Horton just opened last week because of repairs. So they have, I think everybody's behind us. So.
I do have one question about the resolution for
Not yet. They,
What
we've just been
Okay.
busy, but I appreciate you.
Okay. Okay, so I need, Calvert's motion and recess until.
Should we sign on the 20th? I want to make a motion to pay the bills, overtime, and recess, we think on May 20th.
Judy will let us know about it.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor, we have a second,
Second.
all in favor? Meeting adjourned.